Hello, everyone. Welcome back. The Serious Play team is here again and ready for another game. So, as a reminder, we ask you to be respectful, be empathetic, be free, and please have fun. This is meant to be a fun little break and energizing activity before you get down to work. Maddie, what do we have in store?
All right, folks. So as should be no surprise to you all, for those of you that were able to join us yesterday, we have yet another game played for you all. This is going to be a short one. We've got 15 minutes, but what will happen in these next 15 minutes? So you all, once again, will be quickly designing in your Pente teams. The key difference this time around is it will all stay in the main room. So you will not be moving to breakout rooms. So you might be wondering, how in the world will this work? So when we say go, you and your group members will actually begin to collaborate silently or quietly via a shared Google slide that was just dropped in the chat. So each of the groups has a dedicated slide in that document for working space. You're going to use that space to, again, silently, we're not going to have you hop on mic, develop a product by adding ideas and building on the ideas your teammates add to the slide. We will show an example of this here as we share screen here shortly. But as we do this, your task is going to be simple, but nevertheless playfully challenging. So you're going to take the yes and approach that you used yesterday to the next level. So more specifically, you must now challenge yourself to create an entirely new design. So if you're thinking, I don't remember what we came up with, no worries. We're starting fresh today. But with the yes and spirit and approach, you're going to need to think about how to actually meet the needs of the students that we were just hearing from on the panel and the desired outcomes that they're looking for our learning futures. So in other words, you must now focus your design with students in mind as your target audience, operating under the premise that your design will not be successful unless it addresses the unique needs that they have raised here today. So what might an example of this look like? So let's imagine if a student raised the challenge of time management, you might design a new alarm clock. Maybe it's Jetson style that also makes breakfast and picks out their clothing for the day and also maps out the best transportation options and so forth. So don't get too bogged down here on the product itself. Listen to the student needs, start diving in and coming up with ideas that you nevertheless think would help address those needs. And we're going to dive into it very quickly. So remember, this is a product for students and a direct response to one or more of the things that you just heard from the panelists. When you do open that slide deck, and we're going to encourage you to go ahead and do so now so you can orient yourself as we onboard you here since we have a shorter time, you'll see that someone must first start brainstorming in order for others to pick up that design and utilize that yes and approach. So in order to keep the design challenge silent and still have someone start first, we recommend that you just be gracious with each other and allow space for someone to start typing first. And if two of you start typing at the same time, no worries. Take the time we're giving you to sort of figure that out and nevertheless negotiate that. But go ahead. If you're that person that's like, no one's doing it yet, that can be me. Dive in and go ahead and be the first person to type first. And with each of those lines, you'll just yes and, just as you see here, where the second person will add an idea, third person will go forth. And it can be chaos because it doesn't matter. It's yes and. So no matter what line you take, we can still have that yes and approach. So we will, again, remain in the main room. As you focus on this exercise, you will have 3 minutes to do so, to quietly within your teams design a product, keeping students in mind as your core audience. To make sure we're all on the same page, go ahead right now, if you haven't done so already, and find the slide for your group. And that, again, is the same team you've been working with throughout your Pente challenge. So it should be your Pente team, and hopefully you're familiar with them at this point in time. But again, let us know in the chat if you're joining us just for the first time today, and we can help orient you. So when we say go, your group will embrace the challenge of quietly and quickly, without hopping on mic or using the chat, use the table in the slide to line by line design something new, kind of like a game of telephone. After the 3 minutes are up, one representative from each group will be asked to provide an on-the-spot pitch. And because we have the slides, you can go ahead and just read those, for instance, rather than having that be totally improv. But you'll have that give to the whole group, understanding your product is, what your product is, and how it meets the identified student needs. And we have given your space, again, time within this. So use this as note-taking space, but nevertheless, your actual pitch will be around these 3 things. So what's your product name, what's your product description, and how does it actually address the specific student needs that you all sort of honed in on? So you have both of those slides within the deck. Nevertheless, and because we have a short window here, we're going to throw you right into it. So good luck. happy designing. Don't forget what Lara said. This is meant to be fun. It might be challenging, but nevertheless, don't worry. We have some reflections that we can all debrief on the experience afterwards. But officially, we're going to go diving back in. So we're going to go ahead and open the space. Again, not break our arms. So we're going to be in here and we'll have 3 minutes that we'll put on a timer starting in 3, 2, 1.
Just a friendly time check. You have 1 minute left.
All right, folks. So welcome back to the space you never left. But believe it or not, our 3 minutes are now up. It is now time for group pitches. So I want to get right to it because I have to admit I was speaking in on the product slides and this is looking absolutely fascinating. Karina will be doing sketches as before, so let's get to it. Up first will be team number 1. Are we there yet? Capturing the evolving new now and learning. And in 1 minute, whoever your pitch person is, please tell us about your design. Very silent, team number 1. Who's your pitch person?
All right, you all should have the ability to unmute at this point. Let me know if you don't though.
Okay, should be able to.
Now I can do it. I think I got volunteered or voluntold, I'm not sure which. Thanks for unmuting. Okay, so yesterday we came up with a Toast-O-Matic radio coffee maker for students on camping trips. Well, we liked our initial product from yesterday, and we felt that it would be very good for students because it could be affordable, comes in various colors. it could be used as a Wi-Fi modem, and basically they can use it anywhere they want to go. And it can provide some opportunity for informal group studies. It can power other devices. And it basically expands that whole idea of learning anytime, anywhere to meet the learner needs. And I think I got it all. Hopefully I did, guys.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I'd like to see, well, you didn't have to expand on yesterday. Certainly it was interesting to see you do it, and you did it in record time too. So thank you very much. Quick round of applause from everybody. And now let's move on to team number 2. So next up is team number 2 with the emerging credential standards. Take it away.
Yeah, so I'm Andrew. We have patent pending on a great new product called Badge Odorant. It keeps you fresh and on task. The idea that this is a learning asset reminder deodorant that reminds you when you have learning tasks that still need to be completed. It comes complete with essential oils to help calm you throughout the day, and responds directly to your digital devices to remind you both that you need to take care of those learning assets, but also helps to connect you with resources that allow you to calm down and also be a little more mindful in your education. So that's our product. We're excited to have it.
All right, thank you very much. So I like it. Reminders and self-care meet each other. Excellent. So again, as we go through, please remember to, thank the teams for their work. And team number 3 now with immersive learning.
Excellent. Our product is called Me and My Skills, and it is a toolkit for creating a digital portfolio in a resume format. Content is automatically transferred to the portfolio from different provider sources, and using AI, it scans your content and makes a match with a mentor who has similar skills and experience. It automatically initiates a conversation, which can be established through virtual reality, so you can meet with a mentor wherever they are. It identifies internship and career possibilities and has a huddle option where you can connect with other people in your field to brainstorm and network.
All right. Thank you very much. One thing I like the idea very much. I will make a quick note of caution here. Please do not combine this product with the virtual zoo unless you're making sure that you're outside the pen in the virtual zoo. I really, really don't want to see what happens in that scenario. But thank you so much. Great idea. And I guess right now on to our next team. So let's hear from Data-Driven Learning Futures.
Okay, yes, team 4, kind of along the same lines as team 3, we came up with something called Everyone's Tour. It's a virtual tour guide that has an ability to select areas of support that are needed. In addition to just a tour, you can also get counseling, accommodation, etc. Can utilize technology readily available to all, regardless of socioeconomic status. And there are multiple formats to allow access using assistive technology, and multiple modes of media, again, sort of along that, available to all. So multiple modes of media, from text and images to XR, and also can help align your portfolio to the tour topics.
Very nice, very, very nice. I'm liking what I'm hearing here about how to use the technology to bring student interest in alignment with portfolio, with tours. Very, very interesting. All right, so thank you again, team number 4. And finally, let's go on to team number 5, Digital Belonging.
Okay, so team number 5 kind of kept with that same idea. We have developed the Connects Me platform. It is an artificial intelligence driven portfolio builder that prompts the students every day to reflect on what they learn, and they put that into their portfolio and submit an example or a piece of evidence. And they also encourage, the AI encourages the development of their soft skills. And they then share their portfolios that were developed through a wider community to seek out the support and encouragement of their fellow learners and practice their daily reflective abilities, and continue to work within that community to connect to internships, work experiences, and other everyday life joys and hobbies. They have a tagging system, and it will automatically generate micro-credentials and badges when they meet different credentials and thresholds.
Wonderful. Thank you very much once again. And by the way, I like some of what I'm hearing coming through. For instance, I'm hearing AI bringing in a broader picture, a broader perspective in here, rather than just saying, well, so many points here, so many points there. A very interesting set of projects, very interesting set of products from all 5 teams. So let's give them all one more round of applause. Really great work, guys. And at this point, I would like to turn it back over to Maddie.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ruben. And thank you to you all, first and foremost, for jumping in and playing along. We know this was a short one, but as we sort of thought about how best we could use your time, if nothing else, hopefully this is a good trigger, a good source of inspiration, though, of course, you might not be designing these things, but ways to adapt your current designs to keep students in mind, right? It's the benefit of having that student panel. And so hopefully this at least got you going and sparked some sense of creativity and inspiration, and reminding you that that can include some play and some fun as we sort of sit with the rest of our day 2 of the Pente Challenge and think about how in the world do we possibly keep in mind what this we just learned from the students, because it's not just important, right? But it's critical, it's crucial to the success of your designs today. And then, so hopefully we want to put you in the spot to sort of think through that and reflect on that as you prepare for your pitch presentations. So we do not have that much time for a debrief today, but we have nevertheless provided one for you all to think around some things. Reflective questions, again, nevertheless, that we have for you as a resource within your groups. We are about to enter into a break. So this is, if you don't need a break, or perhaps if you want it, this would be a great time for you to personally reflect on some of these questions as well. But nevertheless, we do want to specifically encourage you to learn and to lean into the imperfect, right? This was incredibly quick. And you might have found, we saw as we were watching, some groups diving in right away, some groups taking a little bit longer. I was actually quite interested if we had more time. Like, how did you come up with the name? Some of you didn't tag your slides, some of you did. Like, how much of that was improv? How much of that was you just on the spot thinking, this is what we're going to be called, and my group trusts me to make it work, right? And to fit what we're doing. That's imperfect, right? And that's okay. You are ending the day 2 of your Pente Challenge. And so sort of thinking about, what do you reasonably have time to do between now and that pitch? And really embracing the fact that you might not get to everything you were hoping to get to, right? So have this as a really good check-in point to lean into that imperfection, and know that nevertheless, your pitches are going to be great. We saw, I think, looking at today versus yesterday, even how you approached the design sprints that we threw at you, tremendously different. We were going through like, wow, all the teams are just going for it. So it looks like the teamwork you had yesterday has paid off, and just the cohesion of how you all are working together. We already see a significant difference between yesterday and today's playful games. So I'm really excited to see how you all round out the rest of today. But nevertheless, sit with that. Things do not have to be perfect to go well. So sit with and really think about your story is another thing that we as a group wanted to make sure you all think about. And your audience, and leverage those 2 things to really think about their important anchors as you tell the story about your pitch, and really drive home what your design is, why it's important, why it's needed, who it's for, and the rest of the variables that you've already been prepped with to think around as you prepare that pitch that you're going to give later. So in this sense, make the pitch, do what you need it to do, right? Make it your own. And don't get so bogged down on the details in the slide deck itself that you miss the most important part of the pitch, which is the story. Okay, so we're really going to encourage you to just lean into that here today. One question that we'll leave here for you today to sort of think through that is, what are the strengths of your design process and your design product? And what is the best story to lean into to highlight your product's strength during the pitch process? So reflect on those routines as well. Just a good reminder. There's a lot that we can learn from an exercise like this. Were you the first person to jump in? Were you not? Were you hesitating? Were you waiting for others? Sort of reflect on your leadership, your role in the group, your role as a collaborator, how you've impacted your group's work thus far, and how your contributions have taken place, how they've manifested, what those have looked like. Finally, remember that this is a process. So have fun with it. Nevertheless, if nothing else, collaborating with the folks that you've been working with thus far. And hopefully you are all having some fun around creating some innovative ideas. But that's all we have for you today. We're going to turn things back over to the ShapingEDU team and Stephanie as we round off into a break. But otherwise, thank you all for playing along.
Very good. Thank you guys so much. Maddie, Laura, Ruben, appreciate all the work you put into both yesterday and today's activities. I think the groups really enjoyed them. And we are going to move into the next phase, which is going into your working sessions.